talk about the 6 stages of the divine union process and how this all kind of works and the different stages. So all of these stages can happen, simultaneously. It is not like it's linear or it's happening step by step. They could all happen, one by one or one before the other. So, but this is usually the way that I see it happening, or that I've seen it happening in my own process. And so let's get into how the journey unfolds and what the stages are. So the first stage is the meeting. And so that happens at the beginning of the journey, when you're about to be ignited into ascension and into the spiritual awakening, spiritual process. And that happens when you encounter your other self in the other dimension or the other reality bandwidth, and they come into your reality. And so what happens is there is an ignition of the particle and antiparticle. And that begins the ascension, the biological ascension, which you need in order to actually ascend. You need to actually do polarity work in order to ascend. And so when we talk about ascension, it's about the polarity integration and coming into oneness, coming into union. So this ignites the process, and the meeting is when you draw that person in. And that is what starts everything, starts the process. And at the beginning, you may not even know anything. Like, you don't even know what's really going on. Like, before you meet the person, you are very much, most of the time, you are unaware spiritually. You don't know anything about spirituality. You are very much in I would say, the personality matrix, the ego, the lower stations of identity. And you have no idea what the heck is about to hit you, basically, because that was like my process. It was very I didn't know what was going to happen. Like, I didn't even know anything about spirituality before I came into contact with this person and began the spiritual process. Before I even came into actually meeting this person, it was there was a lot of other people coming in to prepare you for the meeting, or it was highly spiritual connections to kind of prepare you for the actual meeting of your twin flame. So this could happen where you meet other soulmates to prepare you before the actual meeting, energetically prepare you for the higher level of the twin flame. So you come into contact with other people, and sometimes you may even think that you met your twin flame before you actually meet the actual real person. And the real person is not going to be, you're not even really going to know that it's a twin flame, from my personal experience, because that is something that unfolds, as you kind of progress and your consciousness expands, and then you start to actually realize things more, because it's all consciousness. And if you're still at the lower level of consciousness, you are going to be you're not going to understand any of this, and you may even reject your twin flame. So when you reject your twin flame, it's or the person that comes in and is actually your twin flame, it's very much the ego, and a lot of the times it's we are trying to push it away. And there's a lot of forces that try the other side of us, the shadow, tries to push away this connection, and you're actually most of the time not going to be attracted to them, or it's going to be more of a repulsive energy. This is just my experience, but the thing is that is all because you are energetically very different in that sense, because the egos are very different, but the soul is the same. And on an energetic level, you or on a level you are, this person is just not the type of person you would ever go for, but something is bringing you together. And so the initial start to the relationship, some people, they have a very magnetic connection at the beginning. It's instant with the twin flame for some people, but for other people, it's the opposite of that. As for my own process, that was how it was. It was very much, I didn't want anything to do with this person. And so I really rejected it. And it was you rejecting yourself, basically your higher self. This process you're rejecting because that is what's happening, and you are completely repulsed by the whole thing. And so after the initial meeting and all of that, things may move forward very quickly and feelings will change maybe very fast. And so then at that point, you're going to be, you're going to start to feel like, okay, something is really, happening here in terms of the connection is very pure. It's very easy. Feels like home. It feels like, very magnetic, and it may grow very quickly, very fast, there could be a lot of things happening spiritually, like spiritual things happening in the actual connection when you guys are together at the beginning. But then, we go into this next stage of the process, and that is the separation phase. This is the phase that nobody likes. This is the phase that a lot of us get stuck in for a long time, and we are not able to get out of this phase. And so this is the process of the energetic connection and disconnection, or the other word for this, or the twin flame community has coined it as like the runner chaser thing. But I see it as an energetic connection and disconnection during the separation, where you are separated because there is work to be done, and the work that needs to be done is actually done in separation. Because you can be together. There's nothing that's really holding you guys apart because the connection is very unconditional, but there is a lot of karma and these darker energies, the shadow, the ego, that get involved with the connection, the pure essence of the connection, and that really causes the separation. And this is what happens for the most part. It's not that the twins don't want to be together. They really do want to be together. Like, they don't even want to do the separation. And the reason they go into separation is because of the shadow, the ego, the karma, the dark stuff, the lower stuff that we have to clear. This is the thing. The separation happens because of all of that. Because literally because there's a separation between you guys because of all of this energetic stuff that is in the way, which is, what you could call karma, or it's basically the ego structure, the personality matrix, the all the lessons that you need to go through, or they need to go through in the journey before you actually come into the inner union, the sacred marriage. So the energetic separation and the energetic connection and disconnection happens during this phase. So the separation is the one that will happen after, a certain amount of time being together, and then you realize that you love this person unconditionally and you feel like they're family. You feel all these feelings and you don't even know what these feelings are. Like, you don't understand it. You don't understand it because you don't know what unconditional love is. You don't know. It's very confusing, actually. It's very confusing for the most part because both really do want to be together, but there is the thing standing in their way. And a lot of this is, like I said, all of this ego stuff that is standing in the way, the lower energies, and the fact that they have the ego, which is getting in the way of the unification, which is in the heart, which is the unification of the masculine and feminine energies, which comes after transcending the ego structure, which is the lower self, the 3 layers of identity, three levels of identity, personality, identity. And so the unification really happens in the heart, and we have to transcend all the lower 3 chakras to come back to our heart. That's where unification happens. But what is actually keeping us away from that is the ego structure and all of this other stuff that we have to actually work through. And so what happens is that you go into energetic separation. The energetic separation or the physical separation, you go into physical and a lot of times you go into physical separation, but you're still energetically connected, which makes it even more harder, right? Which makes it even more harder on everyone involved, because it's like you still feel that person and you're just wondering, like, why did they leave? You know, like why did they all of a sudden leave? And you know in your heart that they did not want to leave. They did not want to end this with you. But it was all of this other stuff that was causing them to end it. And a lot of the times, yes, perhaps, you know, they felt overwhelmed with the emotions. Perhaps that is the case. There's a lot of reasons, you know, online why they tell you, oh, why did the divine masculine leave the connection? Why did they, you know, like leave. And the answer is really in the energetics of the whole thing, right? You have to look at the energetics of all of it, and that's how you actually figure it all out, because that is what's going on. The energetics is what manifests either the separation or the connection. And so the energetics of it is that there is a lot of other stuff getting in the way of the actual union. And that is what's causing the disconnect. And this is what causes separation. Even though they leave, they leave because of that ego structure and because of this other stuff that they cannot face within themselves. There's a lot of things, but most of it is because of the ego structure, the karma, the interference. There's a lot of interference and a lot of dark interference, and I don't want to say that to scare anybody, because I don't believe that it is something that will stop us from, you know, getting into inner union or even outer union, all of that. But there is things at play that try to prevent this unification or even the actual connection from happening. I've seen it in my own life, and I've seen it manifesting in different ways, but I don't get consumed by it, because there's no point to get consumed by the darkness and to say that something is trying to block you. It's always what's blocking you is all of these internal things that are blocking you from unifying within yourself. That's what's ultimately blocking you. And of course, the agenda is to block union. Like, that's been the agenda of the negative party. Let's just say the negative party on the planet, which are negative aliens, or, you know, all of that, who have downgraded the human and downgraded the actual genetics and prevented the human from biologically ascending. Which means all the implants, everything in our biological body has been preventing the actual unification and has been keeping the body and the body here in the lower 3 chakras, functioning from the lower 3 chakras, from the ego and reincarnating and all of that. So that is like part of the whole thing, right? And it's very important to actually understand all of that, because without understanding like all of that in a bigger level, you don't really understand this process of ascension, of union, or all of that, because that's part of all of it. So however, it is in our power to actually go through and remove all of these blockages that are preventing the inner union. And that's why we have the Kundalini awakening. The Kundalini awakening happens during this process, and that's the whole purpose of the Kundalini, because that's what really clears all of this stuff out. All of this lower three chakras gets cleared out through the Kundalini, rapid fire, Shakti energy. And this is what's really helping us and clearing all these implants and all this stuff that is actually in our energetic template that is preventing that inner merge, that inner unification and ascension, basically, because that's what they've been trying to stop. That's what they've been trying to stop all this time on this planet. And what they're trying to stop is the union, the feminine and masculine unification within every single person. It's not even just twin souls or these twin flames. It's like the actual, on an individual level, every human has the ability to unify and to ascend. And to ascend means you have to unify the masculine and feminine, and unify in the heart to come back to alignment to source, and then to ascend to Christ consciousness, or realign with the Christic blueprint again, realign with the Christic blueprint that we were originally. So that's what it is. That's what Hermos Gamos really is. And Hermos Gamos is the name of the unification within, the union between the human and the divine, which is basically the resurrection of the body to the eternal light of Christos. This is the where the body returns to energetic balance, neutral in the unity field to 0 point. The light, this is when you're like actually joined with source. You come back to the source field, and this is all on a DNA level as well. This happens on the DNA level. You're ascending your body. You're not ascending your soul, your higher self. Your soul is already ascended. You are ascending your body through this process. Your body is the one that's the problem. That's actually the energetic problem. So what you're doing is you're sending your body back to the energetic alignment, back to unity with source. And that is what you're doing through this process of the union. And that's what ascension is all about. And that's why you met this person. That's why you're going through this process. That's why you're doing the inner work. That's why it's all happening, because you are going through the process of realigning your inner energies and coming back to the higher state of consciousness, the highest state of being, unity, 0 point, connection with source, energetic balance, activating your 4th, 5th strand, 6th strand DNA strand, 7th strand, all of that. That's what this whole process is, that we're regaining our divine power, we're regaining our divine blueprint back through this process, which was lost through separation. So we are just going back where we originally came from, which is the divine design of how everything was supposed to be on the planet before it was downgraded and invaded by the negative aliens that came here and mixed with us. And the DNA was basically corrupted to the point where, the DNA was mixed with all these negative aliens. And that's what the DNA went from a 12-strand human to, just a 3-strand human. And that's because our DNA here on the planet has been very much intermixed and interbred with these negative aliens. And so that's what happened with the fall and all of that. That's what this whole process is, the fall. The fall is how it happened, when our consciousness fell, when our DNA fell, when we are separated from source, when we become mortal beings. This is what happened. And so this is the process of really going back to the original divine design, which is unity with source and unity with the oneness, with all of that. And that's what this whole process is about. you have to understand that we have fallen very, very low in the consciousness. So in order to regain all of that back, in order to regain and come back into the heart, which is the 5D level of living, the 5D living, the 5D consciousness is the one that's unificated in the heart. And then the actual divine blueprint is the 12-dimensional, the 12-strand DNA, which is, you have to activate all your chakras. The chakras have not been activated or have been used except for the lower 3 chakras on the planet, and the higher chakras have not been used at all. Even though people are talking about, having all their chakras activated or, having used their upper chakras, none of the chakras have been activated or working for, a very long time. So when people say, oh, I have this activated, I have my heart activated, they don't actually have anything activated. And so this, they may have a very small amount of it activated, but very little, because that's not even possible, because the chakras are related to the DNA strand. So the way you activate your chakras is the way you activate DNA, or the way you activate is by clearing the lower 3 chakras, and then you go up. You don't activate from kind of the top down. I don't really think that is possible, or, people say that they do have that. Maybe they have a small amount of it activated, but they don't have the full activation, because that's not how it works. So anyway, this is very off topic, but I want to go back to the separation. The energetic disconnect, the energetic connection and disconnection, runner chaser. What is this meaning? Like, the meaning of all of this is that there is you go into the separation, the physical, and you go into energetic, maybe the physical disconnect follows by the energetic disconnect, and then you kind of have this thing where for a while you go into connection, like a connection, separation, right? So it's like energetic, or it can even be physical. This is the second stage, okay? So we're talking about separation here, where we're doing the whole runner chaser, energetic connection, disconnection, all of that. So this is where it gets very, very messy, and this is where all the drama is. So in order to bypass all of this drama, in my opinion, you want to skip all of this runner chaser bullshit. You want to skip all of that, and you want to go right into the third stage. I'm laughing because it's very funny, because that's where people get stuck, actually, in this stage of separation, where it's like the energetic connection, disconnection, runner chaser dynamic, and then they get into the tarot cards, and they get into the drama, and they get into the behavior, and then they get into analyzing the person, and all of that is really unnecessary, but people get stuck there. And unfortunately, or actually fortunately, I never actually got stuck in this place. So for me, it was not like that, but I know people do get stuck in this place where it's like just like this a lot of drama. So I feel like I bypassed this very fast in my process. I just really focused on myself for the most part and my journey, and I didn't really get stuck on the runner chaser thing. Yeah, we did have energetic connection and disconnection happening in our journey, in our process. I did feel that, and but it wasn't like it was a drama thing. It wasn't really dramatic with us. I know that there was, for the most part, it was more energetic. It wasn't a physical, because the physical stuff can make it very, very dramatic and very it can make it more painful. Okay, so this is what you need to understand, is that the energetic separation is better than having the whole physical and then disconnect. So it's better to actually just focus on the energetics of this process rather than getting stuck in the physical connection, disconnection, all of that. So you don't want to be getting stuck in the physical disconnection or the physical separation, and then coming back together, and then kind of doing the back and forth thing. Like I said, luckily I was able to skip this unconsciously, really not even understanding that I actually managed to skip this, because we were not stuck in the runner chaser dynamic. I went really deeply into focusing on myself, and we didn't get stuck in this runner chaser. But I know a lot of people do get stuck in the runner chaser, the separation, and trying to make it work, but it's not going to ever work with this person because of, like I said, all the ego structure that still has to be shed. And so this is so important to understand, because the ego structure is what's keeping you guys in separation. And the quickest way to get past all of the ego and come back to the heart is through the dark night of the soul process, which is the third stage, which is the process of losing the ego identity structure, which is so important because we want to be ascending into our heart. And ascension is really based on your chakras and what chakras you are activating and what chakras are actually vibrating and allowing you to connect with source energy, and what chakras are activated is based on the consciousness level as well. So a lot of the times the chakras are so disconnected because of the traumas, because of the implants, because of all of this stuff in our energetic template, that we are not connected to source, right? So we don't have source energy flowing through us. And in our template, we don't have source energy flowing through us. So that means we don't have any life force energy in our body. There's just a lack of life force because of all of this, because of how our energetic template has been so blocked and manipulated with, and we were stuck in the lower three chakras operating from the ego, and basically not even having a connection to our chakras. Even the lower three were very blocked and are very blocked right now until you really heal all of that and block everything to reconnect back with allow the chakras to basically spin, right? Because that's what they need to do. They need to be able to spin, and that's when they can source in life force and spin life force through your cells. Otherwise, you're not able to do that, and that's what creates all the problems in the body, in the physical body. And so when you're going through the dark night of the soul process, which is the third stage, you're losing your ego structure, and this is really what happens after you go into the separation. You go into the energetic connection, disconnection, the runner chaser dynamic. You go into the healing process, and this is where you do a lot of the polarity work. This is where you do a lot of the clearing, the kundalini process, and this is what you need to be focusing on. This stage, the dark night of the soul, the losing the identity, doing the inner work. The process is really difficult. Like, this stage is the most difficult part, because this is where you really disconnect from everything, and you disconnect from the union. And I don't know how many years this is or how many months for everyone. I don't have any times for you. In terms of the time frame for all of this, it could be, like, you could go back and forth with all of this. So it's not like a linear thing where you just like go through it a year and then you go into the next stage. You could be going backwards, you could be going forwards, you could be, all of that. So the process, the actual process, where it's leading you is the inner divine union, the sacred marriage, which is the unity that you start to feel in your heart space. That's what's really important here, and that's what you need to attain. The crystal heart activation. This is the activation in your higher heart chakra, where unity with source comes into play, with unity, 0-point unity field. This is the thing. This is what activates everything. And this is where inner union actually happens. So the inner unity happens within that unity field, and this is what really unifies you with source and everything else, and your twin soul, your twin flame. So when we heal our inner polarity energies of the negative ego and all these behaviors of the lower ego, and repair the DNA in our light body, then we're able to actually embody the neutral field energy in our formerly polarized physical forms. So we were very polarized in terms of how our energies were working on the planet. And from the point of neutral, we then can manifest higher spiritual body, and we can embody the soul, the monad, and the avatar Christ bodies. So we have to heal the genetic material, the DNA, and heal all the ancestral timelines of the past, present, and future in the human race collective mind. And this is the planetary mind as well. So basically, the process here that we're going through this divine union is really doing a lot of this polarity work, polarity integration for the union within. And a lot of us are here doing that. That's why we're doing the whole twin flame journey. We're doing polarity work, or maybe you are a polarity integrator. For myself, I feel like that's what I am. I'm a polarity integrator. That's what I am. I don't believe that I am. I don't believe that I am from Earth exactly. I think that I came here. I feel that I came here. I'm a higher consciousness being. I have obviously lived on Earth before. I've had other lifetimes here and all of that, but originally, I think I consider very much like the angelic human. I don't resonate with starseed or any of those things. Anyways, I don't want to get too much into all of that. What I'm trying to emphasize is the neutral field, which is so important to understand on this process, because what we're doing with this process is we are getting back into the neutral field, which is the heart space, the soul embodiment, and that is the divine connection back to oneness. So this is what we're doing. And we're ascending out of the lower ego structure back into our heart. And so polarity integration is a big part of this polarity work, and that is a very big part of this process. This is what this process is all about. It's really a lot of the polarity work. You're going to be doing a lot of the healing during this stage of Dark Night of the Soul, losing your ego identity structure, going through the Kundalini process. The Kundalini energy is so important for this whole process, and that's what you're going to be going through the stage of the Dark Night of the Soul. It is the stage of really the deeper healing, the deeper work, and this can last for a few years probably in terms of where we are right now. However, the process is speeding up very, very fast because of how fast we're moving, how fast we're ascending, and how fast we are shifting. This is the thing. The energies on the planet are going very fast, and a lot of higher energies are coming on the planet. And so that means they are really, really helping us with the process that we are in right now, shifting us out of the lower stations of identity into the unity field, the union, and that's what's helping us right now. The acceleration right now is so potent, so it's very much it's very accelerated. Okay, so we've never seen this before, so everything is happening like lightning speed. So your process could be, it could be done in months compared to years because of these energies that we have right now that are supporting all of this. So we're not going slow. We're not going slow with any of this. We are going rapidly, quickly. And to be honest with you, I don't really want to stay stuck in doing the dark night of the soul, staying in separation, staying in the ego, staying in all these old places, old energies. I rather just get it done quickly, purge, and really ascend myself. That's where I am at. I rather just get it done and get going and go quickly. And so that's really where I'm at. I don't need to be waiting 10 years for some process to happen. I don't want to do that. I feel like that's just suffering, because I don't want to do that. I do not want to get stuck in, because we can get stuck in, like I said, like this is what we get stuck in, like the whole twin flame thing. We're not progressing because we're just getting stuck in some of these stages, and we're not moving forward in any kind of way, because we get stuck here because we haven't had the energy support to help us really with really speeding all this up, like speeding up the whole process. And we're not speeding up the process to be with a person. Like, let me just tell you this right now. We're not talking about being with that person who you think is your twin flame or whatever. This is not what this is about, okay? We're speeding up the process to get back into alignment to our true selves and to get back into alignment with source energy. That's what you are here to attain, and that's what your ultimate goal is. Because that place is where you will find that true connection, that true inner peace, true unconditional love. That's where it is, okay? It's not in the twin flame person who, is an incarnation of you. Yes, sure, they're there, they're this, but it's not about being with that person, really. That person is, this process. I'll get to the next part of the journey and I'll explain more to you what I mean. But this process is not about being with that person, okay? It's actually to reconnect back with source energy. That's really what this process is all about. And that's what we're like trying to attain here by letting go of all of this this stuff that has been keeping us in a lower state of consciousness. And a lot of you have already transcended those lower states of vibration and 3D ways of living. So you're just like bored and you want to just like you don't even want any part of it anymore, to be honest. And you're just bored with the whole life on this planet. And even though it can be very fun to be here on this planet and exist here and all of that, but everything is just kind of very mediocre and boring in terms of how the 3D life is. For me, it's like, obviously, like most of you are like probably like me, like you don't want any part of it anymore, and you want to just be existing in that place of where you're going. But the thing is, like you know where you're going, to the back home, back to the connection back with source. And that's exactly what you want on a soul level, on a higher self level. That is when you feel like everything is good, because home is not a place, it's not a planet. It's the unification, the 0 point field, the connection back to source. That is what it is. It's not some planet that you want to go back to. It's not some place you want to go back to. It's actually the energetic alignment to source, higher self. And then you can create from that place of alignment. You can create, your ultimate, whatever your connection back, your ultimate self, your higher self identity will be manifested for you, because you have embodied that, and that is home. That is you. That is your essence. That is your true essence. So this is what we're going back to. And so the next stage is the fourth stage of this process, and that is the void stage of the process. And so what this stage really is about is basically after the all of this like work, this inner work that you have done, you're just in this place where you feel like nothing is happening in your life. Like it's very boring. It's very like nothing is happening. You're in a place of void, and nothing is manifesting. Everything is kind of blocked off. You don't know who you are anymore. You don't know who you're becoming. You're very much lost, and you're not even really feeling the union. Like you're not even really feeling the union of the person. Like you're not feeling them anymore, and you are separated from even feeling them. And at times you will get connected back to source, and you start to feel inside of you the connection coming in. Like you start to reconnect back with the heart, and the next stage is where you actually come back into the heart and you start to feel that inner union, that inner marriage and connection back to source. And that's inner divine union, and that's sacred marriage, sacred inner marriage. And before that happens, though, you are in a state of this place of void where you've done a lot of work on yourself and inner healing, and you're in this place of really like, you are in a place of surrender. You're in a place of not needing anyone anymore. Because when you're in a place of union, like when you feel that union energy, which is the inner divine union, you don't feel like you need anything anymore. You don't feel like you need anyone anymore. You don't feel like you need the twin anymore. You are just in that 0 point field. You are just oneness. You are it. Like like it's like that place of you come back to. It's a very hard. I don't know how to explain this feeling, and you start to feel it in your heart, in your heart and your higher heart chakra. Before you even get to that place, though, there's a lot of heart stuff that happens on this journey. You have to actually clear out a lot of your heart chakra, because your heart chakra was so closed for so long, and so a lot of the times you'll feel a lot of like pain in your heart and your heart activating as well when you're going through this process. So it is very much like a lot of pain, obviously, with the ascension. Your body's changing, you're activating energetically. So there's a lot of changes that happen, and you can feel them in your heart and when you're activating your heart. So that could take some time as well for you to actually activate. Because for me, I actually began activating the heart at the very beginning of the process, and I remember having really like a lot of pain in my chest, and this has been since I began the journey. And now eventually you get to a place where your heart is actually like it's coming online, that's where you actually unify, right? So the thing is about it is it's a process of really activating the heart, and you have to actually open up the heart chakra. You have to clear everything that's in the heart and unify. That's where the two energies start to unify within and come into that 0 point field. And so this is what's happening. And the fifth stage of the process is inner divine union or sacred marriage. So this means that the energies have unified within, and this is usually what happens after there's a lot of inner work. So this includes the identity work, the ego work, the polarity work, the trauma healing, the past life karmic lessons or karma that needs to be dealt with. This also includes the just the major healing of the energetic body and ascending up to the heart. This is what all of this is. And this, as a result, then allows you to get into inner divine union, which is sacred marriage. And this happens in the heart where you come back to unity. And through this process, you are clearing like old timelines, old past timelines that you maybe, had as in separation, or that you had in that you are living as, like you may have memories of timelines together or anything like that. This is just past timelines, and everything's happening at the same time, like right now. So this is what it is. Everything's happening now. So the inner divine union happens gradually through all of this process, and you coming back to wholeness and unification within yourself. So the inner union, the sacred marriage inside, the Hermos Gamos, is going to happen within you, within your higher heart. And that is when you start to feel that connection back to source. And you're going to start to feel that slowly building. And this is really this inner sacred union. And of course, you can still have moments of where your ego comes in, or fear or doubt, or, all of that. However, to stay in union, to stay in that 0 point field, to stay in that energy of connection, it's sometimes the ego will overpower that. And, other times it's like you stay in, the whole point of it is to remain in inner union, in inner connection, in that neutral point. And when you are in a neutral point, when you do reach that level, it will feel very, very, very much like safe. You're safe. You feel gratitude. Everything is just coming to you. Everything's provided for you. Everything is happening in alignment. And it's so synchronistic and so beautiful. And it's just this point of feeling like you're back home and that connection. So that is really where you come to when you start to really feel the inner union. And then the last stage of divine union is the service work. And that's when you embody really, what you came here to do, or your higher self, and what really the higher self is here to do. And it can be something very small, but it is some kind of mission that you're here to do, or some kind of work that you're here to do as service to others, service to the collective, anything like that. So that comes at the end, and that's something that could be coming through for you already during any of these stages. These stages can last for years, some of these, and at points you're going to start to feel like a calling, or you're going to feel like you need to do something, like there's a mission trying to come through. And the service work is really about bringing your energetic blueprint, whatever you have, your soul blueprint, to the world. And it's going to feel very effortless, very easy, very fun, very much in alignment to what you're here to do and what you're here to bring to the world. And that becomes your service. And that's when you start to embody that 5D consciousness, that higher heart activation, and you start to live from that place of unity. And that's where we are shifting into as a collective, and really even higher to that, because we're trying to activate the all our DNA strands, all our possibilities. But that's going to take, some time to do that. So the process at this point, though, is to unify. And then from there, you clear the separation and you come back to activating even higher and evolving even higher and ascending even higher. But you go into the service work, and that becomes your source of abundance, and your source of supply is not going to be something external. Your source of supply will come from your soul, your connection back to source. And you're going to disappoint many people, and many people are going to feel like you're not doing what you should be doing, or, there's going to be a lot of egos that are going to be crushed basically in this process and including your own ego, right? Because you think that you're going to do something, but, that's really not what you're here to do. And then, you're actually shifting into something else completely, and that's going to be more in alignment to that soul embodiment, that higher self that comes from the heart, and that's going to be the source of your supply and your abundance, because we're here to be abundant. We're not here to be living in lack. And 5D consciousness is all about abundance and abundance in every single way, and not in a way where we're working and grinding and hustling for that abundance. We are just, in alignment to our true selves, in alignment to our true embodiment, our source connection, and we are just living from that embodiment alignment, and we are drawing everything to us from that alignment. And it's not about living in the old way anymore, where we're chasing something outside of ourselves or chasing money. It's really about being abundant from within and drawing that abundance in. And so that comes after the unification, because you have to unify within in order to get to that place of truly being abundance and becoming abundance, and not chasing, money and all of this, but actually coming back to, your source of supply coming from source, from God, from your connection, not someone outside of you, right? So this is what it is. You, especially as a divine feminine, it doesn't mean that you're divine masculine, or if you are a male that you're going to be doing, exactly working just, for yourself. And it may be that way, or it may be even that, for divine feminines, you need to be working out there. So the service work is very much a natural alignment to your higher self, and that's going to be naturally expressed through you in whatever way it has to be expressed. And it doesn't mean that you will be just, doing mission work. You may have to be out there working in the collective, doing something of that nature, but for most divine feminines, it's very much because you're embodying your divine feminine energy. You're not going to need to be out there doing that, because that divine feminine energy is very much, she draws all abundance to her. So that's true divine feminine energy, and you draw from the source, from your own source, because no one is your source but you. And so you have to come back to that point. So the service work is very much, can happen anytime during this process, or you start to have nudges on what you want to do, or there's new identities that will come through. New identities, as in like new higher stations of identity, will be activated when you start to come back into inner union, and higher stations of identity, which is your soul matrix, will start to come through. And that means other things that you want to be doing in the world, other expressions of yourself. And so for me, I went through so many different changes, and I'm still going through different changes in terms of what I see myself doing. And I don't think that you really anchor into that until you know exactly what you're, and until that it's true in alignment for you, and then it will naturally just manifest. But we can go through these different stages multiple times, or you can go back to stages, right, and then go forward. So it doesn't mean that this is like linear. It's not a linear process. Like I said, it's not something that's like super linear where you just go one stage to the next stage. And like I said, there is no time limit on any of this. This could go really fast, or you could get stuck in different stages based on, if you're not transcending the lessons, if you're not doing the actual polarity work, if you get stuck for whatever reason because of ego reasons or something else. And so you can get stuck in these different stages, especially at the very beginning. You can get very stuck, and that's why we don't progress and we don't move past a lot of these stages, because we just simply get stuck at the separation, the runner chaser, and we don't understand what the journey is about. We think it's all romantic. We think it's just a regular connection, but it's more than that. And really, we're coming back to the higher level of existence on this planet, which is the 5D consciousness, which is what we're here to activate within us and within the collective. And a lot of us, we have higher levels that we will activate, and we are activating. So that's like higher levels, higher than fifth dimensional. Like fifth dimensional is just the point of oneness, the point of unity, but we can go beyond that and we can activate higher as well. And that's what we're going to be doing. And this is the process. And the thing is, like, if we get stuck in any of these phases, it can be very difficult for us to move forward and progress on the journey. And the journey is very much about really understanding the bigger picture and, really not coming back to this place of unity within you and this place of surrender and coming back into alignment with your higher self and your soul. And then that's what will accelerate everything in the external world or manifest in the external world, right? So this is what the process is all about. So I hope this helped you on your journey and to kind of clarify the different processes and the different phases of divine union. And it doesn't matter what stage you are at, we're all going through the different stages. Like we all have to go through all these stages, and this is what it's all about. So there isn't any right or wrong, or it's just, this is the process, and just honor whatever stage you are at and know that you will come through and come out the other side of this process, because it is difficult. Like, it's not an easy journey, easy process. I think it was actually easier just staying asleep and not knowing anything. But that really was a lot of the times that was harder because of the emotional turmoil that we can experience, and we don't know how to step out of that. When we start to really embody the unity, we come back to the inner peace, that calmness returns, and we can really take power back of our emotions and understand more of our emotional self, which is so important in this process. So this is all for today, for today's video on the different stages of divine union. And I hope this has helped you on your process, on your journey. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like the video, and share, and let me know where you are on your process. Let me know what stage you're where you are right now, if you want to share, so that others can can see and we can help each other. And yes, that's all for today. Sending you lots of love. I'll speak to you in the next video.